Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first live training session of the program. My name is Angel. I am the Club Growth Director for District 100. Today, we're going to be having two trainings, one by myself and one by our beautiful Cindy Lash, who is the past region advisor. Today, we're going to be talking about why we build clubs and how to build a club with no lead in 8 weeks or less. And then we're going to be talking about how to recruit members and close the deal to get your club to charter by on that first launch meeting. If you have questions during it, um, just put them in the chat for me. Cindy is going to be doing interactive stuff in her training, so she'll tell you how to pose questions when she gets there. But yeah, if you have questions, put them in the chat for me, and I'll try to answer them as soon as we can. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's training. So today I want to talk about why we build clubs and how to build a club in 8 weeks or less with no lead. Now, I've heard this from a lot of people of the why do we build clubs, right? It's different for everybody on why they personally build clubs. But everyone should have a good general understanding of the why behind it as a district, as a member, we do this. Other than I want to get my DTM or I, have a group of friends at work and was like, oh, that might be a good club. So I want you to think about outside of just you and why you're personally doing it and think about the world around you and think about the things that you've gotten from Toastmasters. One of my mentors, gave me this, and I tried to write it down direct quote, but I'm gonna paraphrase quote because I don't know if I got it word for word. But they said that building new clubs, the reason why we do it is because we can deliver the value of Toastmasters that we receive to the people who haven't had the chance to experience it yet, so that they can be the best version of themselves and share and being able to share the experience that keeps us coming back. And I thought that was a really good um, motivation of why we build clubs overall, right? But if you break it down, it's like the first part is like who haven't got to experience what we experience yet. And that could mean different things to different people. And that's what makes this so beautiful is that each person's story is unique. So Cindy may have joined because her company, Harley Davidson, said, hey, let's build a club, let's get it done. I know she chartered that club, but still, at the time, she could have been one of those people who did join because of that. Beth could have joined because she's a doctor and she needed to learn how to deliver bad news better. Um, Abhishek's from India. Abhishek may have joined because he wanted to learn how to better communicate with international people. I joined because I want to be less mean. And my autism plays a side in social interaction, and I wanted to learn how to better mitigate that. So as you can see, like each of our stories is going to be different on why we personally joined. But guess what? Even though you think you're alone in the world, you're not. Where there's you, there's probably thousands of people who are like you who experience similar situations, if not the same. There's almost 8 billion people, if not 8 billion people in the world right now. I don't have the world population pulled up, but I know we're expanding crazily. So out of all of those people, there's no way that we have everyone. I think we have just under 280,000 members in the world or something last time I looked. And what's funny is that in the United States alone, what we have like 360 million people in the US around estimated. So think of it on that scale of like when people say, well, we have a lot of people and we're market tapped out. No, trust me, where there's you, there's 10 other yous that could use what you're going through. And so going on this experience of why, I want you to think of what the value of Toastmasters is. Now, if you look at our website and you go through the Toastmaster core values and what we represent, it's to tell you a couple things. We value four things: uh, re respect, integrity, service, and excellence. And that's the order my mind is remembering it in right now, but I know it's a different order on the website. But in general, those are like the core values. We want to respect everyone. We want to have integrity in all the things we do. We want to serve other people and learn to be better leaders. And we want to be excellent in how we do it. Now, the two values or the two marketing points that Toastmasters primarily leans on is communication and leadership skills, or presentation, public speaking. Think about each one of those and write down three different areas three different skills that fall under communication skills. I hope you have notebooks out because this is going to be important. Now, I want you to like take those three and multiply it by like 1,000 because that's how many skills actually fall under communication. When you think about it and you're talking to people who are, well, I don't need to do a presentation for work or I don't need to go public speaking. Well, do you need to learn how to read body language better? Do you need to learn how to listen and use what people are saying to better communicate with them? Or are you trying to advocate for people? Because if you're advocating for people, you need to be able to combine both sides of the field and deliver presentations and speeches that can impact both sides. So there's many, 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 many different skills when it comes to communication. And the same thing with leadership. Leadership, people think that you have to be a manager, you have to be a CEO, you have to be in all of that. Let me tell you, does anyone have kids? Because if you do, you are a leader. Probably a cult leader at that point, but still, because your kids should always love you and they'll always follow you no matter where you go. So it's a little bit like that. But if you think about leadership skills and you write down the skills associated with that, there's so many different things that you don't even realize is a leader. It could be, for example, someone goes to work out at the gym every week and they don't do it to get credit. They aren't trying to bring people there, but they share it in their Instagram or stories every week that they go to the gym, they're doing workouts, trying to get healthier. And what happens is that other people see that and they're like, oh, maybe I want to try that because they're doing it. Maybe I can. And let me tell you what, that's a leader because they might not have any managerial decision making over what the people are doing, but they're influencing and guiding the actions of others and motivating them to do things that they wouldn't normally do. So, whenever you're thinking of those two things that Toastmasters primarily markets, learning how to pick out of a person's story, and Cindy can go into this later when she's talking about recruiting members, but whenever you're talking to people, you have to be able to pick out of their story and find those little bitty skills that align to what you're going for to Toastmasters. Now, finally, in the Why We Build Club part on what the value of Toastmasters is for us, I'll cover one last thing, and it's something that is egregiously missed in our marketing. And it's the relationships and networks that we all have. I don't think people realize how much of a network Toastmasters is, or how, people join because they needed to give a better presentation, or they joined for a work club, and then they stick around because of the friends they made, the connections they have. Um, Not only being able to grow, but being able to go see their friends every week and know that they're in a safe space and they can talk to people. Uh, and this became more vitally important after pandemic because a lot of people who were homebound or are still homebound because of medical reasons or anything like that, they have a community in Toastmasters. They get to share their voice, their story, but they also get to talk to other people and experience the world around them. So that's why whenever you're going into the Why We Build clubs, it's your answer is going to be different for each and every person you ever speak to. The idea behind it, though, is all the same. We're sharing our experience to people who don't have the chance to experience it yet. We're going to make people the best version of themselves, or we're going to try to do that. And we're going to share and connect with people and tell them what keeps us coming back. Now, why is all this important? Because obviously, like, we talk about value, we talk about why we build clubs, but why does this matter when you're actually building a club? Well, there's a couple situations when you're building a club that arise in the beginning, and there's three paths you take to building a club. The first path is going to be like a corporate situation where you have a lead. You're working with the company. They know their employees. You have a very um, limited projected view of who the members are. And 99% of the time, the company, if they're paying for it, they already have their members. Your second one is a lead that comes in, and you have a contact for a community center or a community club or some group of a community, and they're already having that idea. They already know who they want. They're already starting to pick it. They need help getting there. And then finally, you have what I love to call out of thin air clubs. And those are quite fun because it's really us, us from the inside, looking at who we are and the people around us and the communities and the groups we're in and saying, oh God, I think Toastmasters would work for this. I think that people in this group could use that. And so out of all of the different ways to charter a club, that one tends to be the most scary one, the one that people shy away from a bit. Why? Because they don't have a direct person to talk to and build the club with. They don't necessarily have a direct line to new members. And so it's a little bit scarier. But let me tell you, it shouldn't be. And it's not. Because it's actually one of the funnest ways to do it. And it's the one that you actually create something you personally care about. And it actually gives you a better sense of feeling like you contributed back than doing the other paths. But all paths are great. But I want to show you how to build a club in that way. And because when I said you can build a club in 8 weeks or less, I got these big old eyes last time I talked to people. I want to tell you how you can do it in 8 weeks or less and not have to kill yourself or bend over backwards or take crap loads of time to do it. So I hope you, like I said, I hope you got pen and paper because I'm giving you steps here on what you have to do to build your club. And we're already taking some of them in this program. So the first thing you're going to do, and I say first as in like this is the first thing you should think of. It may not be the first action you take, but it's the first thing you should be thinking of. And that's to define the club's purpose and goals. So you want to know aside from the Toastmasters International mission, vision, and objectives of a club, you're going to want to have your own. So if for the purposes of this call, I guess I will act like I'm building an advocacy club, which is probably on my list of ideas to work on in the future. And I'm going to use that to demonstrate how we go through this process. But what I want you all to do is I want you to apply it to any of the ideas you have now. And I want you to think through it from that perspective, because that's going to help you structure and form out your clubs to build and be successful by the end of this program. So, whenever you're defining the club's purpose and goals, obviously we have our Toastmasters Club missions. We have our club, our vision, to bring and share this experience with the world and help them become better communicators and leaders. But when it comes down to it, if I just charter a club off that, that's great. But we also need to know what makes us unique. So if I'm chartering an advocacy club, my mission is going to be, aside from Toastmasters, is to help bring communication and leadership skills to future advocates or new advocates to help better prepare them for the road that lies ahead and what they're going to be doing. And it's to create, like I said, it's threefold. We want to help them learn how to better present, better communicate, better speak. We also want to help them in leadership positions. Because a lot of advocates take leadership positions or are in leadership positions. So them being able to learn how to communicate what they need to communicate out in a leadership position is important. But also creating them a community where they can all get together, talk about things, and share feedback on how they're doing things, right? Evaluation, one of the most critical parts of Toastmasters. So that would be like the mission. Our vision is to like help increase advocacy and make advocates better in the world, better communicators and leaders. And then, that's what makes our value different from the rest of the world. We're a club that is going to, primarily appeal to potential or current or new advocates, and that will help guide our actions and who we recruit to as we move forward. Now, like I said, I hope you're taking these down because your club idea is going to be much the same. If Beth wants to get a bunch of doctors together and say, hey, let's have a club, then she should know why she wants to do that. And she should know what's going to make her club unique and valuable experience for the people she's presenting it to. And here's the fun part. Every person in your club should know this. Every person in the club should know what makes your club unique. Why? What's the best way to recruit new members? Word of mouth. If Cindy left her today and she's talking to her friend and she's like, oh my God, guess what? I just left this meeting and it was amazing. They were talking about new ways of advocating and how we could better communicate our wishes for the future and how we can deliver that to other people. Then she already has told the other person what the value of that club is. But if she said, "Oh, we just had a bunch of speeches and we did some evaluations and table topics," they're gonna be like, "Huh? What are you talking about? What the what?" So learning from the beginning, teaching your members how to communicate that value to other people is going to help. The second step you're going to take when you're chartering a new club is to identify your target audience. Luckily, it's in our name for the club that I'm using as an example. It's advocates, potential new or current advocates. And now, if you look at an advocate, it doesn't mean to go get all the angry people who are rioting and protesting, because that's the darker side of it. We have a lot of people who are just trying to make the world a better place, and they try to share their story. They try to speak up. They try to do these things. but they might not know the best way how. They might be a little too shy. They may not have the experience behind it. And so knowing how to speak to your target audience is going to be very important, especially if there's like different subsets or sub portions in those communities that you're going to be talking to. Like for brand new advocates, I wouldn't necessarily go in and tell them, "Hey, is your current speeches not working out correctly? Are you not able to change anything?" Like, "Hey, we can help you. We can give you feedback on that." I wouldn't tell them that because they're not current advocates. They're going to be brand new people. They're little babies. So what you want to tell people like that is like, "Hey, have you ever thought about sharing your story and trying to help the world understand why things appear the way they do to you and why you have some of the ideas you have so that they can have a better understanding to make decisions for the future." See, that would appeal more to a new person than a current advocate. Current advocates already know why they're doing it. So always remembering who your target audience is important. And it gets really important when you go to PR for your club and you're posting stuff on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You're also like calling people, things like that. You want to know who to call. You want to know who to talk to. The third step is to set your launch meeting date. And like I said, the fun part is some of these actions get done before certain other actions. Oh, so you may have an idea and then you set a launch meeting and then you figure out what makes your club unique. But the idea is that all of these steps should be done to make sure that you have a strong club in the beginning and that you have a clear path to form the club within 8 weeks or less. So set your launch meeting date. Pick a date, stick to it, don't change it, and say that you're not going to accept failure. Say that you're not going to accept mediocrity, that you're going to do this and you're going to finish strong and you're going to get the people in. Because when you are happy and striving and showing it, other people can see that. It's the happiness effect. Now, I'm not saying fake happiness. Do not go out there and be fake. Um, like if you are just RBF every day and you go out there laughing and smiling and giggling for like a whole 2 hours, no one's gonna believe it. But the way you communicate it, the way you speak about it should be from a positive, good side that you experience. You should always share it from what makes you excited because it's infectious that way. Um, and the fourth step is what Cindy's part of what Cindy's to talk about today is recruit people for your launch meeting. Recruit your initial members. What's our goal? You could put in the chat. What's our goal for our launch meeting? Come on, people. If I don't see you post. Oh. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should see. I'm still learning communication here. How many people should we have at our launch meetings? How many people are we targeting to get in that room?
30.
Yep, 30 or more. And let me explain why. Because obviously it's 20 to charter a club, but it's 30. We want 30 or more in the launch meeting for one reason. Out of everyone who attends the Toastmasters meeting, about 2/3 of them will say yes whenever you ask them to join. Especially if they're having fun, they're getting into it, they're getting involved, they're engaging. About 2/3 of the people will say yes, maybe even more if you're having a really good day. So that's why you always want to target 30 or more people to be in your launch meetings. So you have a good group of people that by the end of that meeting, you should have 20 members with applications given to you and you could charter the club, right? So that's why we push for 30 or more. We're not saying, oh my God, you know, make sure they're all members by that day. No. All they need to personally commit to in the initial like phone call with them or on Facebook is I'm gonna go give an hour of my time to see if this was right for me. That's how you could present it to them. Don't sit there and say, join my club right away. Don't don't say give me your money without telling them why first. Um, yeah, that's the critical point here is just tell them to come and experience it. Come have fun and join us. It's free experience. Come let us know how you like it. So 30 or more. The next step in this process is going to be to host your launch meeting. So in your launch meeting, we actually have a launch meeting agenda, which was taken from Cindy. And the launch meeting agenda is a really condensed meeting. You're only going to have one speaker, you're going to have one evaluator, and you're going to do about 3 table topics. And I got some really great ideas on table topics. Just say I'm going to share them in a little bit. But that first speaker, you do not want them to be world-class renowned speakers. Make sure they're like middle ground. They've been a Toastmaster maybe 2 or 3 to 5 years. Uh, they they still are happy, they're still thriving, they're engaged. Make sure they're still excited and get them to give a 5 to 7 minute icebreaker on themselves and why they joined and why they stay in Toastmasters. That really can help those attendees in your launch meeting to better understand what the value of it is from other perspectives. Now, when we're planning the launch meetings for this program, I am trying to put together a group so that all of us have a a pe people that could be there. However, if you know someone who's freaking amazing at this, bring them our way. Your evaluator, you're gonna want someone is not gonna go harsh on you. You definitely want to keep it light. You don't want to give them like full force paleo evaluations right away. You want to give them definitely a lot of bread with that sandwich. And the reason for that is because a lot of the newer people are a little bit scared or skittish when it comes to being evaluated. But you do want them to understand that the whole idea is to get feedback and improve upon what you've done. And finally, you have table topics. Now, table topics is going to be different. There's many different ways to do it. Cindy can share some later if she would like. But I've got some good ideas, and I think Cindy shared this one with me as well. I got this from 2 people. Was share out some cards and have them write their name, and possibly have them write something no one knows about them. Have them write something that they're proud of. Have them write something specific, right? Get all those, or you don't necessarily have to do cards if it's online. You can have them put it in the chat, right? Have them private message it to you. Do not let them send it to the whole chat. That would be horrible. Or another great way to do this is a form, a simple Google or Microsoft form. You have them fill it out and you can see it all right away. But get those inputs, right? And then as the Toastmaster, you're gonna select 3 randomly and you're gonna say, hey, I see um someone climbed the Himalayan mountains and took a trek through there. Who do y'all think? And this was a unique perspective from someone. Who do y'all think it is? So try to have everyone guess who it is because it creates like game fun. And then whoever it is, invite them to share it with the crowd, with everyone. Don't and here was a suggestion, don't time them right away. Have someone timing, but don't show them the flashcards. Don't tell them to stop right away. See how long they can go. And then share that with them after and say, oh my God, you just spoke for 2 minutes on an impromptu topic. I think that you could definitely pull off a 4 to 6 or a 5 to 7 minute speech on a topic you've researched or that you had time to prepare, right? Get them thinking about how they could actually do this or make them feel already a part of the club. That's going to be your primary success factor in this launch meeting. Make them feel like they're a part of the club. Like I said, Cindy, I'm not trying to go over on yours. Let's talk about more of that. Um, Now, this next step, me and Cindy were talking about, and this could be done in two different ways, but it's host the organizational meeting. This is where you select your club name, you talk about who your first officers are going to be, and you just make all those final selections in the addendum to the club constitution, right? You make all your options, you say when you're going to meet, things like that. Now, there's two ways to do this. The first way is if you already know you have 20 people signed up, ready to go on that launch meeting, spend the last 10 to 15 minutes of the launch meeting, ask everyone if they're okay to stay back and help you select this stuff and get it done then. Because if you can, you have them all there. If you can, talk about it then. If not, like if it's just been a long meeting, everyone's ready, and schedule a meeting for a week or two out. If you have everyone a week or two out, and have that meeting just for that, talking about what your club name's going to be, who your officers are going to be, and the meeting times, the meeting days, everything like that. Go through that with everyone. And there's a couple reasons for that. It gives people buy-in to the club, so they all feel like they're a part of it. And then you're getting a lot of different ideas and perspectives from this group of people that are joining your club, which is really great. So that's why I said there's like two main ways to do that. So there you go. Now, once you have all 20 people, you've had your organizational meeting, you're going to host your first meeting of your club. This is different than a launch meeting. This is going to be your charter meeting. This is going to be the first meeting ever of your club, and everyone's gonna have a lot of fun. So in this meeting, you're gonna want to have members, especially in table topics, share, things about themselves. Get to know them, get to know each other. It's a very big in the first 6 months of getting to know each other and how everyone operates. And you just kind of finalize everything and really establish the club culture, right? In these first 2 to 3 meetings, you're really establishing how everyone's going to interact, how everyone's going to talk to each other and get along. So yeah, that's really great. And then after you have your first meeting, you're going to establish communication channels. You could do this earlier, but this is your next step, establish communication channels. This could be a Telegram group, a Facebook group. You could have a website, newsletters, things like that. You're going to want to figure out how your club, all the ways that your club wants to communicate with their members and keep people engaged. One thing I have noticed is that group chats, things like Discord, Telegram, things like that are really helpful for a club that is community or specialty. And the reason for that is it gives people a chance to interact outside of the meeting, which is highly important. Because whenever we're in meetings where we're giving speeches, we're evaluating, and we'll have our like 15, 30 before and after saying, hey, how's everyone, mingle and talk. But it's in those special moments where people are sharing things about their life or talking to each other that they really get to know each other and create those connections that keep people feeling like they're part of the community of your club. The next step is going to be putting lead generation strategies into place for your club. So when you're chartering your club in those 8 weeks or less, you want to make sure that every person in your club knows the value, but you also want to talk about how you're going to continue to grow your club. One thing a lot of new clubs, I think, struggle with in the beginning of their life is that they think, oh, we're chartered, we're done. That is the worst misconception I've ever heard. You're never done. You have to keep recruiting. You have to keep sharing it because overall, throughout the life of your club, you're going to have people leaving, you're going to have people coming. So make sure that you have a way to communicate to the public that your club's alive, we're thriving, this is what we're doing, and it looks different for each club. What some common fun things is like having sharing the members' speeches with their permissions on YouTube and the social media accounts, letting the world see what kind of things you're doing. It could be like making sure you celebrate everyone, but you want to definitely talk to the club and get these strategies out so that you'll have a good understanding of how you'll continue to grow. And then, you know, these last two steps are kind of going to be consistent for all of your perpetual life as a club. You're going to want to evaluate and adapt. Evaluate what's going well, evaluate what may need to improve, and constantly have your club grow and shift and change to the world around it. Keep having the idea that your club is like you and it needs to grow, it needs to shift, it needs to adapt to the world. And then the final step is going to be promote and expand your club. I know a lot of promotion talk, but honestly, at the end of the day, if you're in a club and you're not sharing what you're doing, we're not going to get there. Now, I'm giving you all a lot of information, I know, but I hope you're writing this down because next we're going to talk about I'm going to give you a really quick overview of how to do this in 8 weeks because this portion of the training is very simple if when you get the understanding of it, right? So this is also the part a lot of people have questions. How do I build a club in 8 weeks? Like, I don't have a lot of time. What do I do? Well, the first step is to document out how much time you have. Like, be realistic, look at your calendars, look at your schedule, look at your appointments, and see how much time is being used and see how much time isn't. You're going to also want to look at your goals. Now, once you have your value, once you have your, your club idea lead, whatever you want in your mind, what is your goal? Everyone should know this. How many members do we need in our launch meeting? 30 or more. So our end goal by our launch meeting is 30 or more people. So if I am on February 17th and I'm just counting weeks, sorry, 1, 2, and I want, okay, so here's a fun one. I'm even going to make it less than 8 weeks. I'm going to say March 30th, I want this club chartered. That's my launch meeting. I know, I'm crazy. 6 weeks, right? Now, that tells me that eh, by um by March 30th, I need 30 or more people in my meeting, right? Now, if you're like me, you 30 or more people like, "Oh my God, I'll never get there." Why? Let me tell you something. I started with the goal of like 30 to 40 people for this program. Guess how many people signed up? In 2 weeks, 19 people. Oh, let me tell you, it can be done. It's not something that's this effervescent goal in the world or, thing in the cloud that you can't achieve. You can achieve it. And I'm going to show you how. Take that, take that goal of 30 or more people, right? And then take those 6 weeks, because now you have 6 weeks that you could do this. And then, like I said, if your launch meeting's 8 weeks from now, just put 8 weeks down, right? And at the end of each week, I want you to think about how many members do you need to get to reach that goal. Luckily for me, 30 breaks into six very evenly. Oh, for me, for the Advocacy Club, I only need to get 5 members a week or 5 RSVPs a week. So think about it. I have now went from having get 30 or more people on a call in 6 weeks to, oh, I need to get 5 RSVPs a week. You see how it sounds a little different? It may not be different, but it sounds different. It tricks your brain because it breaks it down to a smaller number and it's more achievable, right? It's a smaller increment that's more achievable. Well, let me share how to get that in the week, having limited time. I told someone the other day, and that if you took 30 minutes a day, how many hours a week is that? Oh, come on. Someone put it in the chat. Not Cindy. Not Cindy. I know Cindy's paying attention. Come on. Someone put in the chat. How many hours is 30 minutes a week for a week? How many hours is that? Huh, Gordon? What'd you say, Gordon?
One?
Oh, 30 minutes a day?
Oh, a day. Okay, that's 3.5.
Yep, 3.5 hours. So if you can find 30 minutes a day to post a promotion on Instagram and do outreach to a couple of your friends or go in some Facebook groups or Instagrams or wherever, right? Wherever you're doing it. If you're going out to lunch in person for an in-person idea, and you're going out to lunch and the community center or wherever is right around the corner, stop there for 30 minutes to an hour. But with 30 minutes a day, you should be able to get 5 RSVPs a week. If you're just doing that outreach, talking to people, having about a 5 to 10 minute conversation with everyone that you're talking to. Now, how do you do this, right? So if you think about 30 minutes a week, 10-minute conversation with each person, because you don't want to be too long, you don't want to overkill it. Out of those, I think like I'd say 7 times 3 is like 21. So 21 people that you've spoken to, at least 5 of them should say yes. I'll check it out and see what if I like it, right? Now, you could have more. You could get all 21 people in a week. You never know. But what I want you to do in order to make the 8-week charter goal a reality is to break down your number into measurable and smaller steps that you can actually take to get there and that won't kill you on time every day. You don't have to spend 3 to 4 hours a day doing this. You don't have to spend 15 hours a week building a club. Now, yes, you're hearing this training. This training is 2 hours. But like I said, that's different. You're learning about it now. But when you're actually doing it, 30 minutes a day, 10-minute conversations, and you'd be surprised at how many people you can rally up within a short period of time. Um, yeah, so you'll have by that March 30th goal I gave for the advocacy club, if I get 5 people a week on by my launch meeting, I have 30 people there. Now, what do I do when I have them RSVP? And this is part that we're going to help you with as a district in our RSVP forms that we're going to build for you. So every time someone RSVPs, they're automatically going to get an email saying, thank you so much for being interested in choosing to spend some time with us. Blah, blah, blah. And you'll give us the information we're going to put in those emails. But on every single email going out will be a membership application attached. Why do we do this? We want people to look at it and think about it. Oftentimes, and this is something that came from past international president Alfred Herzing, is that he actually tried this method in one of the clubs he was building, and he was actually surprised at the amount of people who sent that application back, signed and filled out. they they just automatically filled it out and signed it and sent it. So whenever you're recruiting those 30 or more people, by the time of your launch meeting, if you're sending out that application, you may have 10 to 15 people already signed up, ready to go. Because they filled out the application, they're ready to go, they're loving it. Now, we're not going to submit those applications until after the launch meeting, making sure they really want to join. But yeah, just go for it and achieve it. And the last thing I will say as you're going out of this is by the end of your launch meeting, by the end of your organization meeting, don't forget to say thank you and celebrate every person joining and even yourself because you're all taking commitments to being better and joining a group of like-minded people, right? Now, my last comment, that was my final thought on the chartering process in 8 weeks. Very achievable now, right? The number one thing people struggle with is getting members. So break it down, 5 people a week. Um, and we'll in a future training we'll share strategies on how the different ways you could go about that. But I want you to think about it and know one thing as you're leaving today is that it's okay to be confused. It's okay to be unsure. It's okay to be out of your comfort zone a little because me as your club growth director, the team, we're here to support you. We know all the paperwork. We will help. Like I told y'all in the welcome call, we will literally help you fill out all the paperwork for your new clubs. You will not have to worry. We will make sure all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted. Everything is there and set to go. So know that you're not alone. We're all a team in this. We're all doing this together and that you can achieve it. All we need to do is make a plan and put some action behind it.